Following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Well, we have a couple of things to talk about today. First of all, we have this election going on. Whoops, it's not our election. It's over in the UK, and that'll be over probably before we close the market today, if it's not already over. Anyway, I will show the British pound chart in just a minute, but we started out looking at the DAX chart. As you can see, it's completed some patterns, and these patterns are no different than the ones we see in the NASDAQ, not the NASDAQ, but in the S&P and the New York Stock Exchange Index and the Dow. The NASDAQ is in a parabolic move and certainly in a rising wedge, but the others are acting pretty much as expected. Now, the other thing that's important is tomorrow, or today, we're going to have Norm Winsky on at the half-hour break, and then tomorrow we will have Rich Anderson, and there's a big crop report tomorrow, and as we've been talking about this week, is that we've seen some movement coming out of this major bottom where we had the ABCD pattern in the July soybeans. They've moved quite a bit. Wheat has moved even more. It's been affected more by the weather in the central and northern plains than anything else. So this will be a big report that we have coming in on the grains on Friday. We'll cover some of that, of course, in the newsletter futures section over the weekend. And then hopefully early in the week, I'm going to have Bill Meridian from Cycles Research and hopefully Stan Harley from Harley Stock Market Cycles in next week, but they haven't got back to me as of yet. Okay, let's get back to a couple of markets that are very, very important from a technical perspective that we've been talking about all week. And we'll use the weekly chart to take a look at this here. Oh, I forgot to do that. Oh, just a second. I have to put the British pound chart in first. I got these in order, so I don't want to lose the order here. So we'll put the British pound. As you can see here, we will see. Yes, Rich Anderson will be my guest tomorrow. He'll be my guest tomorrow. This is a British pound on a 60-minute chart going back, several days. And as you can see here, we do have a 3 drive to a top pattern coming in at a 61% retracement. And with the election today, that may or may not have something to do with the British pound. It's not like a Brexit vote. However, if she were to lose, I think it would be like a Brexit thing. And what would happen after that, remains to be seen. But it's not nearly as clear as the chart when we were trading at 150 when we had the Brexit situation going on. This is the one that then this next chart to me, folks, is the most important. We've been talking about it, quite a few days here, and it's done everything that you could possibly ask it to do, and that's this U.S. dollar index. This equates to the euro at the 112.80 level. We got to 112.85. We've been there 3 times. Each time we backed off about 80 pips, which we've already done so today. And we actually went below 112 today, so we backed off almost 100 pips. And any move below that 111.70 level would tell us that this is most probably the start of a rally in the U.S. dollar index, i.e. a correction in the euro. And this is a very, very symmetrical chart. By any chance you ever get a chance to look at it, you really should. We'll just take a quick look at it here from the euro's perspective, because it's this mother, God, and country type stuff, folks. You'll notice that we have the ABCD patterns completing, but also you have these cycle highs that have occurred every 107 to 108 days. And that occurred on Monday. That's when we made our first high. And then we've tested it again on Tuesday and Wednesday. And each time we backed off from there. So it's telling you they're really strong resistance. Now, as a devil advocate here, if we were to break out above that 113 level, you see that it's facing even more resistance up at the 78% level at 1.344. Folks, this is in a long-term bear market in the euro. We've had these rallies before. This rally that we've had between December and June is almost exactly like the one we had between November and May. And so these, they're not surprising, just like the one we had between February and May of last year. So this market is bearish, so you want to try to find a place to see if it's going to get moving. Okay, now Steve Rhodes, Steve's posted something about the commercial traders and euro futures. The problem with that, Steve, is the fact that that euro contract at the CME is less than 1% of what goes on in the foreign exchange markets. It's mainly the cash market that's traded, the foreign exchange market. The CME is a great place for traders, but the big traders, believe me, they're not in there. I know you know that. I just wanted to let the folks know that it's a great trading vehicle, but for commitment of traders, there is no commitment of traders for foreign exchange. Those boys keep it really close to the vest. That sounds like what bankers do anything. And you're absolutely correct, Steve. It is a pattern associated with other tops. Whether that's correct or not, we'll have to wait and see. But boy, it certainly has a really nice pattern as far as symmetry and ABCD patterns and Fibonacci numbers. They're all coming, together, very, very closely. Okay, the first question that I had today was about the silver and the gold market. Let's do this one first. Let's answer this first question. This was about the silver and gold, where I didn't think that this was going to be a valid breakout in the gold market. And the reason I said that was because of what was happening in silver and also what was happening in platinum and also what was happening in the XAU, the gold silver index. If you look at silver going back to the middle of December, you'll see those pink lines. You'll notice that each of those lines are symmetrical, making symmetrical patterns all the way through. We just completed another one here this past yesterday, and when we got to the 1770 level, the Fibonacci number was 1768, but it's came right back to that level, so it's still holding its own. Now, even though gold has backed off $14 so far from the high, from $12.99 down to $12.84. What we need to watch is to watch the $17 retracement. That's one half of a harmonic number. If you've been following gold on a daily basis or hourly basis, you'll know that we've had these $17 and $20 corrections quite often. Sometimes they're double that at $34, but the first one would most probably come in down about $17 from the high. And if it holds that level, that's just telling you that gold is acting, very, very bullish. That's really what you're looking at. If you look at gold on a little bit longer time frame, going back on the longer term dailies, even though we did take that high out, you'll notice that the ABCD structure on this would take you all the way up to the 1320 level, and that's almost $50 from where we're trading, or that's $43 from where we're trading right now. So all of that is telling you that there's nothing bearish about gold yet, but the fact that we did make a double top there, then that's what we want to be watching, very, very closely. We'll take a break here. 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, I'm back, folks, and I'd like to share with you a long-term chart going back a long time, back in, about 20 years ago. Let's just put this up here so you can see it. This is the big NASDAQ going back about 20 years. This was sent to us by one of our friends across the pond. And as you can see, we are sitting right at a 1.27 expansion of the high that we made back in March of 2000. That comes in at that 58.88 area. So kind of keep an eye on that. It's a 20-year chart, but you remember we are in this what we call a rising wedge. There's no, this is a perfect definition of it. If you take a look at this, you can see it, and we haven't broken the wedge by any stretch of the imagination, but that is what we're doing. This is what the Elliott people called a five-wave extension, and believe me, I'm not an Elliott person. I studied it very heavily, but the counts just got too confusing for me. But I could understand the ratios and the patterns between them by looking at the triangles that form. Because as triangles form from low to low, or low to high, then I could see how the ratios expand and contract, and that's what gave me what I think is a edge in trading. But as far as counting these 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s, I've been in the room with some of the smartest guys in the world. Used to come out to Pismo Beach and, vacation out there and trade at the trading house. And, you had Bob Miner out there and Bryce Gilmore. Oh, gosh, there were so many. Who was the other one? Glenn Neely. I mean, all these guys, they would be in there arguing about whether it was a 3 or a 5, and I would be over there trading it, trying to tune out what they were saying. So just remember that, you got to find your niche, that what you like to do, and if it works for you, do it. If it doesn't work for you, find something else. I wanted to show you a short-term pattern here that someone brought to our attention last night. This is a very short-term chart looking at the, just give me 1 second here. There we go. We'll get it up here for you. This is a short-term 15-minute chart going over the last 2 days' action in the crude oil after we broke down. Remember, we got up to that 48 level, and it had a chance to turn, but it did not. And we mentioned that if we went below that 47 level one more time, we were going to be looking at much, much lower prices. Well, after we broke below that, you noticed over this 3-hour period, it made a perfect ABCD pattern up at that 46 15 level. And from that level, it's already broken $700, practically $800. Now, and we relate that to $800 in the E-mini contract. How much that is, folks. I mean, you're talking about 16 points in the E-mini. We haven't seen that since Hector was a pup. And so the euro and the crude oil is jumping around, all the time, giving you these tremendous swings to look at. We're seeing the same thing in the euro contract, even in the gold contract. Gold's dropped over, $1,500 in just a matter of a few hours, where, stocks are doing nothing. So everybody's, they're looking at stocks, and that's like watching paint dry. Maybe the paint will turn wet again, but right now that's not the place to be. The place to be is in some of these others. Even in the grain markets, we've had really good moves in grains, in beans, and wheat, and corn. I mean, we had an ABCD pattern that we talked about in the newsletter this past week, where we made the big ABCD pattern on the weekly chart in beans, and we rallied over 30 cents. That's $1,500. That's equivalent to 30 handles in the S&P. So there's a lot of volatility in a whole bunch of these markets that you should pay attention to, and not just focus on the stock indices. I know the stock indices, they mesmerize everybody, but the real action sometimes is really in some of these other markets, and that's one thing you try to keep an eye on if you're trading other things. That's why foreign exchange is such a great thing to trade, because you do get these things that happen in other countries. They also trade 24 hours a day very liquidly. I don't know if that's a real word or not, but it sounds real. But they're very liquid, and they also they give you a lot of opportunities. So it's very, very, and they give you good margin and good leverage and everything, and the executions are very good. They do have a problem once in a while, like we had with Switzerland a couple of years ago, when they pulled that giant bank robbery where they pulled the euro off for a few hours, which was the biggest bank robbery in the history of the world, but nobody even reports it anymore because there's no skin in the game. We're going to have Norm Winsky on at the break here, and we'll be certainly listening to what he has to say, because he's given us some great information through the years, and we want to be able to listen to what he has to say. Now, let's get on to, we have a full moon coming up tomorrow, and I just wanted to bring up this chart since we were talking about the wheat and beans and corn. I wanted to bring up this wheat chart to let you see where we are. You'll notice we had this double bottom pattern forming on the 17th of May. We came down and made a 135 pattern, and we've rallied over 25 cents a bushel. You'll notice that the 78% retracement level comes in at 487, and we have the full moon coming in Friday. The problem with this full moon is it's coming in when we have a crop report, and this crop report could be a real game changer. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. If it's a bad report, I really believe the beans, wheat, and corn will be a really good buying opportunity. So that's what I'm planning on doing, is to have some buy orders setting down there if we do get it, because these charts are really turning positive from a pretty negative spot. So that's just the pattern that we're looking at. Yes, the full moon is absolutely gorgeous this time of the year. It's really these are planting moons, because they're still planting beans and some of this stuff, but they're very beautiful. Here in Tucson, we have the Sabino Canyon, and at midnight they have a ride where you take the tram up into the mountains, where you see mountain lion and deer and all kinds of animals, and it's just like daylight. It's really spectacular. The problem is the things are booked so far in advance. Unless you book it a year or two in advance, you never get a seat. But those are really fun things to do if you ever come to Tucson. And then also the observatory out at Mount Wilson, where you can actually go in and look at the stars through the giant telescopes, and it's really spectacular to see some of that. A lot of things here in the desert, but not like being in New York City, where everything's hustle and bustle, that's for sure. We roll up our sidewalks here at 8 o'clock. We hit 105 degrees yesterday. as we arrived here in the old Pueblo, but it's going to be much cooler today. The Russell Index, if you'll give me a chance here, I'll put it right up here. We'll take a quick look at it, and then we got Norm Winsky coming up at the break, and he'll have some really good. Yes, it is. The Russell is made a 3-drive to a top pattern between January, February, and May. And then the other day when we had that big pop up, we went up to the 78% retracement, went a little above it during the emotional time, but after that we went back below it. So as long as we don't get above that 140, it'll be other. No, it won't be 110 this weekend. No. We don't hardly ever get to 110. 105, 108, that's about it. But once in a while, you'll see 110. You see, well, we'll be right back. 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and it was a great deal of pleasure. And we're going to talk to our good friend Norm Winsky of AstroTrend. Norm, are you there?
Yes, sir, Larry. Good morning.
Good morning to you, my friend. Almost a happy full moon. Why don't you go ahead and take over?
All righty. I thought I would do a quick review. I was last on your show the morning of May 18th. I was asked to come on there because we had a huge thing going on with Saturn making 20-degree angle to Uranus, which generally speaking only occurs every 46 years. And so there we go. So I talked about coffee, copper, and the stock market mostly. And here's what I got the coffee chart on there now and pointing to what happened. The next morning, it was a day late, and it did make a little bit of a low there, like a one-day rally, but then it failed, so that wasn't the best. Coffee is usually good, been good for me, but not. This was not one of the better ones. Moving on ahead here, on page 2, we have the copper chart. This was sort of the opposite. It was a little bit on the early side. It was the morning of the 18th at 8 in the morning, and it was a rocket shot right out of the morning there, and so you may have had trouble getting on the train. That's why you also have the 60-minute chart, so you can see what happened there. Zoom in, and you can see it was possible if you were following closely, and you drew some simple trend lines. Once it broke the trend line that morning, and then you might have had a chance to get on. It moved, I think, about 10 cents in 2 days, which, Larry, is about $2,500.
It's a big amount. Norm, we have a question from one of our listeners that we had a situation this week where we had 2 planets that were changing signs right on the same day. Is that correct?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm asking you. They're asking that question.
Asking somebody. Yeah, well, I know. I was just reviewing that last night with one of my students. And within 1 or 2 minutes of Venus, I remember the one was during the right after the opening. Heliocentric Venus entered Aquarius, and within 1 to 2 minutes of that occurring, the market made it. I think it's the low of the day, and then it had a big rally. That's pretty good.
Okay.
It was accurate for a change in trend within about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. All right, moving on ahead. Here was the stock market forecast for the month. This is my Bradley style. I've changed Bradley quite a bit, but here's my Bradley sort of style forecast here. And so you might want to notice one of my major advancements, I believe, is I'm able to forecast when the energy is going to invert. The big downfall of the Bradley model is that the energy tends to invert at times. It goes along the way you expect, and then boom, it's upside down. So one of my big things is station points. That's why I'm asking you to come on here now, Larry, because tomorrow we have a station point. That's when, relative to the Earth's motion, the planets look like they stop their motion and then they reverse their direction. Mercury did that on, I believe, May the 3rd? I was on your show on May the 3rd, and Mercury turned to go direct. And you can see the little black bars there. That's the Dow Jones. And then my little blue line there, though, this is the inverted blue line, was due to dip there. But from that point on, the market followed the inverted plot, which is the blue line, which I did several weeks in advance. So it worked out pretty well.
Sure did.
It had the low there on the 18th, and then and then up. Here's another neat thing there. Venus it was 0 south latitude on that day. And that corresponded right with that little short-term high there,
Okay, Norm, I have a question. Does the fact that we have this station point occurring at the same time that we have the full moon and I believe perigee, this is a whole lot of things coming together here on Friday. Is that correct?
Exactly. It's as I said in my letter, Larry, it's a mega change in trend window, And we got a probably even bigger one next week where we have, oh my God, a whole slew of stuff, including a station point next week. And we're going to get into that here in a little bit. That Neptune, I think Neptune is turning retrograde or, senior time. I forget whether I got it written down here. But we'll look at that in
I have a lot of those times.
Lots of stuff happening next week, and this stuff is huge too, right? So, as you know, Larry, when you get the moon lined up with another factor like my famous May 19th, 1819 window there back in 2015 when we had the new moon within 24 hours of Mercury turning retrograde, that turned out to be the high of the year. So, so these, when the moon when you get several things lining up with one of these my station points are one of my top things, so and then you get something else like the moon lining up with that. That's like a supercharge, like a little extra kicker there to supercharge it,
Uh-huh.
Alrighty, moving on ahead here now. We got, here we go. Here's your, I talked about the 25th being the, I'm going to go back here now just for a second, back to page 1, because they also had 5:25 afternoon, new moon. We had a new moon in perigee. We're in the syzygy cycle now, where the new moon or full moon lines up with apogee, perigee. Apogee is far, perigee is near. And tomorrow morning, as you alluded to, we have a full moon at apogee, far. Okay, so on the 25th, we have the new moon at perigee. I mentioned the precious metals and grains. And so let's go look at that chart on page 4. There's your gold. Gold main. Now here's a little different twist on the change in trend points from the planets. This is the smaller, a small percentage thing that happens. Most of the time, obviously, we would prefer that the planets and so forth, the astral cycles, forecast highs and lows, but occasionally you'll get a triangle-y, wedgy pattern, and often the important planetary or lunar events forecast when they're going to get to the apex of that triangle or wedge. And that's what happened here on the 25th for gold. It was kind of making a little wedgy, triangle-y pattern there. And the end of the triangle was right where the new moon was. And then we broke out the next day to the upside. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's only happens so about maybe 15-20% of the time. The rest of the time, yeah. Hopefully we come to a high or a low where it's a lot simpler. Yeah.
Well, it does happen occasionally.
What's that again?
It does happen because you have these markets to an extent.
The wheat was a little bit more confusing. And for I don't know how many months, at least almost a year, I would say, at a minimum. The grains have been incredible, corresponding to the new moons and full moons. Unfortunately, in May, it was a little more confusing. I'm not sure whether to say that a day before the new moon, you made a low there, or a day after, you were like making a high. So, you could, maybe you got two for the price of one. I'm not sure, but there's your wheat. Okay. So now I'm ready to move ahead, unless you have any questions, Larry.
I'm doing good. We got a break here coming pretty soon. We have a question from one of our listeners, and it is when eclipses occur, do they have extra power when we have these solar and lunar eclipses?
Eclipses are important, especially for the stock market. The lunar eclipse is a bad day. High percentage of the time. I did a statistical study on that and then had somebody else who had a whole staff of statisticians work on that, and about 75% of the time, lunar eclipse will, within one trading day, the stock market will drop about 1.75%. We don't have that until August.
All right, let's take a break here, and we'll be right back with Norm Winski of AstroTrend.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest live programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 9 hours a day starting at 8 a.m. as John Logan kicks us off each trading day with the Global Market Pulse. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Mondays and Fridays, catch live trading on the Nadex platform with host Tom and Tommy O'Brien, along with Daryl Martin on the Bull Bear Binary Option Hour. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Catch the Money Masters as they teach you the art of mastering money when it comes to trading and investing. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks. We've got Norm Winsky from AstroTrend. Norm, go right ahead. We're with the June 8th update. Fire away.
Yes, sir. Right on page 5 there, Larry. So now we're gonna talk about right now, the next day or so, when we're in a mega window here with, as we mentioned, the full moon at apogee, and Jupiter in Libra is going to turn direct. For the people who are new, what is that? Well, what is that? It's all about relative motion to the Earth. If you're driving in your car, you're doing 60 and somebody passes you doing 70. If you look out your window, even though you know your speedometer says 60, you look out your window, you might get the impression that you're going backwards by 10 miles an hour. That's what happens. All the planets are going around the sun, different speeds, and at certain points, individually speaking, you look out the sky there, plotting the planets, you say, look, that planet stopped moving. And then the next thing you know, very shortly, it changes its direction and goes the opposite direction. Jupiter has been going backwards, retrograde, rolled to the Earth, and now it's going to shift, which I believe is some kind of a shock to the solar system, a shift in angular momentum to the Earth. And we're going to have that within 21 minutes of the full moon.
Wow.
Yeah. And then tomorrow night we have, what's that again?
It'll be exciting.
Yes, sir. That'll be tomorrow morning, 9:30ish, I think, between 9 and 9:30. You know, I don't have the exact times in front of me at the moment. I think it's like 10 after 9 and 25 after 9 Eastern time. And then tomorrow night we have Jupiter lining up with Neptune. Neptune is oil. For all you oil traders out there, pay attention. That could be like this was applying. These are big cycles, so it's no wonder that oil is going down. Jupiter is the planet of abundance, and it's lining up with Neptune, which is the planet for oil. So I'm not surprised that oil is going down. Then we have coming up here next week, we have another mega window. Also, I need to mention these station points when the planets turn direct or retrograde. Those are what I call polarity points. We're back to the Bradley model again, my Bradley model. This kind of model, I have this for June. And so we draw the original version, and then I do have a couple other versions based on the anticipation that this line will change its polarity, whether, if we're expecting all negative, and then we get to one of these points, the polarity may flip from negative to positive. So I'm able to forecast that window, and then we watch in the first few days of the month. Usually this worked out really well. If you watch the first few days, and then it was obvious by here, I'm on the 8th, that the market was going to top out there and then go down. So that's what we're looking at here. We got 3 polarity points. These are top of the line change in trend points plus they have the power, potential power to invert the energy for the stock market model for the planets. So then the 13th to the 15th is a mega window in that the moon's north node, that's a mathematical point in space. Very important cyclic point, 18.6 years. Lots of things line up in that 18 to 19 year cycle window. And in the long term, this is going to be 120 degrees Uranus. And let's see, the moon's north node, that's connected to the moon. So that's a silver. And then Uranus is copper. And then we're going to have Mercury at 0 north latitude. You saw on the chart before when it happened when Venus was at 0, what was that, 0 south? And here back last month, Venus was 0 south latitude. And we had a nice change there, a top in the market. And then on the 14th, after the close, AC is after the close. Uranus will be 90 degrees to, this is huge. If you're looking at any U.S. financials, U.S. stock market, T-bonds, U.S. dollar, this is the biggest point of the month for the bonds and the dollar. Excuse me. With the Uranus making a 90-degree angle to the U.S. Pluto, that's based on when the country was formed back in 1776. And then the night of the 15th, Neptune turns retrograde. All you have attention, all you oil traders, go back and look the past several years. Neptune has been turning retrograde every June, and the crude oil maybe doesn't top exactly to the day, but in that general vicinity. And then we usually have several months of a down market for oil. Okay, which goes along with one of my observations that when the ruling planet of a commodity goes retrograde, it has a general bearish effect on that market.
So you're bearish on oil for the next few months?
Yes, sir. Based on that pattern.
Okay.
I know it seems counterintuitive. The oil is got it in the tank already, right?
Well, you're trading with the trend, so the trend is your friend.
Yep. So I know they just I seldom ever cite fundamentals or anything like that. God forbid, but they did just. I think last week they turned on the spigot for the big pipeline. So maybe that's a factor. I don't know. All right. So anyway, there we go. We have our 3 big polarity points in addition to the points I just gave you. We have Jupiter turning direct on the tonight, and tonight. That's right. And then the 14th after the close. Mercury will be at 0 north latitude, and then after the close of the 15th, Neptune turns retrograde. So there we go. And so the 4 top markets, there's so much stuff going on here, Larry. We just don't have time to cover it in a short amount of time I have on your show here. So I picked the 4 ones that are like double hits where they're mentioned in both windows and so forth. Repeating cycles. And so we have sugar has been going down, down, down. We need to get a nice setup. We probably would like to see the sugar go back and retest the lows. That's a Venus thing. I think we have, Jupiter and Libra. Libra is sugar. So when the Jupiter turns direct, that's a possible change in trend. That'll be tomorrow morning. Possible change in trend for the sugar. Like to probably see the sugar go back down and test the lows. Then you have a possible bottom. I'm not real bullish on the sugar, though, longer term, because Jupiter is the planet of abundance, and it is in the sign of sugar, Libra. And so maybe you just get a nice bounce, Here's your wheat. It's a cousin of sugar, believe it or not. The wheat is sweet because it's also a Libra factor, and so it's sort of some of the same things. I guess the wheat has been, here's your daily chart. I guess on the short term, the wheat has moved up a little bit. We do have the full moon, so watch for that's a double deal here for the wheat. That's crude oil. No wonder I'm looking at the wrong chart. How'd that happen? That's crude oil. Where's the wheat chart? I accidentally put the wrong chart in here. Sorry about that. All right, I know. It says see page 4. I have to go backwards. There we go. There I do have it. Okay, there's your wheat chart. Sorry about that. It's on page 4, at the bottom of page 4. So anyway, the wheat has been moving up. And so we're at the full moon, and we have Jupiter turning direct. That's a double hit for the wheat, for a change in trend. So let's see, there we have the sugar. We have the crude oil. There's your crude oil chart. It's in a down channel, as I think you might have mentioned. And here we have the S&P. It's coming up. It's testing its highs. And so I think there's a good chance in the next day or so, the S&P, the stock market will probably make some kind of top here. Okay.
Did you just say the stock market make some kind of top in the next few days? Is that correct, Norm?
In the next day or so.
Wow, that's good. Well, you're in a sell zone. I saw that in your letter that you're in a sell alert zone. Those have
that's
been
only
pretty
for
good.
a day or so. That went away.
Okay.
I forgot.
Yeah. Stay with us. Stay with us. Okay. I want to ask you another question and give the folks how they can reach you. 877-927-6648.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're talking with Norm Winsky from AstroTrend, and we have 2 questions. They're both same question. Norm, you give us lots of dates and lots of information. How do you keep track of all of it? Because there's so much coming down the pike. Some of it is more important than others, but what is the best way to keep track of all of them?
Get my letter.
That's a simple. The three thing. Get my letter. 3 famous words. And how do they do that?
How to do this, how I get the answers, and how I put this all together, then I have a free 5-hour class that I'm going to teach you all this stuff. Some of the stuff I'm not showing that's in my letter. I'm doing advanced Fibonacci time cycles, and I'm also doing fractals. So
they'll just have a money back guarantee?
Absolutely. If they mention your name, Larry, they'll get a double your money back guarantee for the free class. It's free.
This is a good deal. And how do they reach you, Norm?
Alrighty, so I just want to mention real quick on the S&P, talked about a top here in the next day or so, but it's probably not going to last very long because within a few days next week we'll be in the next mega window. So it's gonna be a little complicated. You'll have to watch carefully and get a hold of me. And if they do my class, they'll get on the nightly update too. All right, here we go. Here's how to get a hold of Norm. I'm in the beautiful Naples, Florida here. Here's my phone number, 239-594-3939. You can reach me. There's my email. It's kind of complicated, nwinski@embark, embarqmail.com. Or you can call me on Skype at norm.winski. I'll leave that there on the screen so everybody can see it.
Yeah, they're going to leave it up until the next show starts. But I want to thank you for being on. By the way, Norm, as you know, we chat occasionally on Skype and by phone and email. But if there's something that you really need to be on the show, I mean, like you're on right now, if you need to be on in a couple days, that you see something that, really is important, because you've given us some fabulous days over the past couple of years. I can remember May 19th of 2015, which was the top for the rest of the year, and some of these other dates were really good. But Norm Winski, AstroTrend, 877-927-6648. See you all tomorrow.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.